Yeah. Paul, you were saying something?
No, that's fine. I was just really happy to be with you today, and I hope this kind of grows into a kind of relationship and meetings with either with myself or some of my connections as well. I was talking earlier today with a lawyer friend of mine who's American but is working in India now, and she has Indian heritage as well. Somebody called Sarah Victor, who may be joining online just to kind of join in. If she's there, I'm going to say hello to Sarah. But if not, there's a definite connection there, and she'd be excellent at this for sure.
Yes, actually. So majority of participants are here. So let me just give a small brief about Paul. Though his brief is very small, but it is really very powerful, and I will say why it is so close to my heart. So let your attitude shape your day. Don't let your day shape your attitude. This is not what I have decided. This is a tagline of Paul. So this is the tagline of Paul that caught my attention, and I thought, oh, what is powerful wisdom and what is a thought process. So let me just take you guys to the profile of Paul. That Paul is an optimistic who is hopeful and confident about future, and that the good must ultimately prevail. He embraced big ideas and actions that reflects a sense of hope and goodwill towards others. He is a mentor, interviewer, hiring manager with over 25 years of experience. What a golden mine of knowledge. Experience in recruitment, from identification of vacancies, needs to shifting applications, chairing interview panels, and posting. He is an assessor for the Highways England graduate scheme as well. He is working with universities to develop project management and workplace behavior skills of new graduates, and a university visiting lecturer on the concepts and beliefs of smart motorways, which is truly a new concept for me to understand from him. And what is something very powerful, that he is positive leadership behavior expert, also leading thoughtful, stressful time, situational leadership, preparing for the workplaces and winning CVs, interview strategies. And he was a former talent mentor for Coventry University final year as a talent mentoring program. Paul is also a fellow chartered institution associated with the regional West Midland Regional Chartered Institutions of Highway and Transport, and he holds many positions as a member of Association of Project Management, awarded registered project professional RPP status in June 2015. And at the same time, he is an experienced regional sponsor responsible for the business cases, scopes, and benefits realization, leading a diverse program of complex multi-million pound motorway infrastructure improvement with innovative traffic technology solutions to congested routes, including the Smart Motorways program for the 27 billion roads investment strategies. And now, what made me the biggest fan for Paul? I really wish to put my hand on my heart. He said, "It doesn't interest me what you do for living. I want to know what your passion is. If you dare to dream of achieving your quest, it doesn't matter. It doesn't interest me. How old are you? I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for your dreams, for the adventure of being alive." I have no words, Paul. Still, when I was reading this, I was getting goosebumps. And this is something so powerful statement. I believe our participants will agree. This is something an hour of need, what you have, discussed about. So this is something very powerful. I honestly did not come across with a profile who is doing so many things, who is into
Mhm.
so many things. So I believe when we do all these things, it is that we are living beyond a cage of the limitations and boundaries, and we believe that we have many things to do as God has given us the life. So I also resonate. That's the reason I could get so well connected with you, right?
Mhm.
So how about the participants? Like this is something really very good, and I hope I have prepared a list of questions for me so that I can have the maximum, fruitful results from all this conversation, because we have a ocean of wisdom with us, knowledge from each and every area. We all are connected. So let's have start off the talk. Like how about the participant? Who all participants are excited to know here from Paul? Let me just enable the chat and we look forward. Who all are excited? Let us know who all are excited. Who all are excited? Show us all the excitement, because we are in this pandemic. That is the reason, that is a way out we can connect with each other. And I believe once we are putting these energies, we are changing the vibration and we are connecting with each other vibrationally through the power of universe also. So let's put together the most powerful, more positive energy. Happy, happy. Wow, wow. Shashwat says, thanks for taking time out. Wow, yes, yes, no doubt in it. It's not that easy. Wow, wow. Great, great, great. So let's start with all the questions which I have prepared, and I believe that that is going to help me and you guys also to understand and learn many things from Paul, because this is something going to be a very magical and a very rememberable event for me. I truly believe this. And this is not an interview for me, it's an truly very powerful event for me. Okay, Paul. So let our audience know, how did you get started and take me through that journey?
Sure. So my degree was in history of art, architecture and design, which is very different from kind of civil engineering. And I never envisaged that I'd go into civil engineering. And I think this is my first lesson to share with people is, when you're thinking about what degree to do, think about, your passions, what you're really, really interested in. It's going to be 3 years of your life. Don't feel forced into an area thinking, oh, I should do this area when you're really interested in that. Because most people I talk to in their careers, their degrees were very different anyway. It's a very kind of lucky person, I think, who decides at 18, that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I think do something that's going to interest you and you're passionate about for 3 years. And I've always had a passion for the visual arts, for architecture, for building and construction. I can remember when I was young and in the libraries, I used to go to the arts section and look at paintings, Impressionism and all the kind of Parisian art and that kind of thing, and just beautiful things. And, how were they created? Vincent van Gogh and that kind of stuff, really, really vibrant and powerful and beautiful things. I used to look through books of building plans about, okay, that's a beautiful building. I was really curious how it was built. And that was my passion. So maybe, think of yourself going into a library, which section of that library really interests you, first of all, and that might guide you of a passion for your own future, where it might lead you. So that's how I got started. And then I joined the civil service, and I was working on procurement for runways. So it's still kind of building, still construction. And I did that for a few years, and that was in our environment department. I did that for, I think, 9 years, and then I moved into transport after 9 years, still in procurement, still construction. So all of my adult career, and I started that in 1986. So what's that? 35 years probably now. I've been working in construction, and I love it. I just love construction. So that's a little bit. That's I've just covered 35 years there. I hope that's helpful.
Wow, that's really great to hear, because either in India people think, for I believe the story is same, but what you said, it is truly right, because many of the people are not aware of, and many students take the decision of pursuing a degree based on the peer pressure, looking at some of
Yes.
the fantasy designation nowadays, because students have got access to social media, so they look forward that who is working how and what designation can bring me what. So that's how people decide the thing. So I still remember I came across a student of mine. I am a literature student. And the moment she got to know that I'm from a very good college, and she said, what subject you studied? And my answer was, I did my Sanskrit honors. Sanskrit is a language, and which is not that easy language. Even in India, people don't study Sanskrit. But trust me, I learned that because I love literature. I was very
Yeah.
much liking it. So, though I did not pursue my career in that field, but as you said, that you were very much interested looking at the building, visiting the libraries. But the moment I was going through that whole curriculum of 3 years, in fact, throughout my life learning Sanskrit, that really helped me to evolve, learning the shlokas, doing the debates, shlok recitation, understanding about something, few concepts about Gita, few of the Upanishads, and then some of the novels, Abhigyan Shakuntalam and all. So, that really take me to a word which, a kind of a word which was a fantasy word for me.
Yes.
Right. And I truly lived that. And that's the reason I become very expressive. So
That's
I
right.
was not bothered that whether I would be making a career in this
Cool.
degree or not. But because I really wish to do it, I really wish to learn it, and I choose the best college for that, and I really loved it. So that has no significance till now in my life, that what I have read in my career. But again, even if you are doing something for the passion, I could really correlate, as you said, I used to visit to the here and there. It was a similar story with me. I
Yeah.
used to have all those fantasies, shloks, Google all these things. So this has really helped me to evolve as a person. So studies
Yes.
has to help us grow. It should not be majorly depending upon academics and scores. It should help in our development.
I really echo that because, when I talk to a lot of students and I go into universities, one of the first things I say to students is actually for those 3 years, your parents will probably say to you, spend your 3 years in the library and just study. Actually, those 3 years are really an opportunity for you to meet a lot of different people and get a really different perspective on who you are as a person. We learn from others and we learn from being challenged by others' perspectives. One of the things, most important things I say to students is you're going to learn how to start to communicate and do things like this at college with people who you've never come across before, of really different faiths, religions, color, etc. Maybe you've never come across their perspective and point of view, and it's really important to embrace other people's point of views, and you will grow as a person by doing that. And there's a lot around tolerance of different beliefs and understandings, and there's a bit about growth of starting to form your own opinions about what life is. So definitely one of the best things I say to students is, yeah, try and get a part-time job as well, or volunteer, because through volunteering, even if it's like a McDonald's or a charity or whatever, what you're learning there is customer service and how to deal with difficult customers. Because one of the things I found when I'm doing interviews of graduates in particular is, on paper, they've got amazing qualifications, superb qualifications, but often their communication skills aren't very good because they've never done this. They've never had to interact and listen, active listening and understanding. And, sometimes it comes down to being kind as well with people, especially maybe kind of more difficult people as well, to listen, be tolerant. And one of the biggest things that I would say you're going to learn at university is how to be non-judgmental.
Wonderful insight. This is the key. The moment you said your daughter has gone for a volunteer work, and let me share, I also feel that when I was working in universities and colleges as a training and placement head, I realized even today, students, instead of thinking that what we can contribute, the first question parents and youngsters nowadays ask, what will I get in return?
Yeah, yeah,
So this is
yeah.
something which I am looking at it, but the gaining from that experience has to be at a broader perspective, and kids from the very younger age should learn that they should have really a role to play. What they give, they will get back.
Yes. And there's a phrase over here. It was an American film called, oh, I can't remember what it's called now, that is a very famous kind of Christmas movie. It will come to me. But there's a phrase in that that says, the only thing that you can take with you is that you give away. The only thing you can take with you is that you can give away. It's your giving, and by giving of your time and your kindness and generosity to others, that's what people remember. And by giving, you get so much back from their growth, from seeing their growth. The film is called It's a Wonderful Life. It's a very famous film in the West, very old, 1940s. James Stewart was the star, very Hollywood star. But have a look. I'm sure it's all over kind of Amazon. It's a Wonderful Life, and it's a very heartwarming story with a lot of life lessons in it. One of my favorite films of all time. Okay.
Wow, great that we got a news that we can watch another movie right now in this pandemic, and which can be a very informative and a very good movie. And the name suggests it's a wonderful life. Yes, it can be. Okay, so now, uh, which are the hurdles that you face, and how did you overcome your journey, as a professional, as a personal, and then you were moving ahead in your career, doing handling lot many responsibilities together, because you did not focus only on one thing. So what are the few challenges you faced in that, Paul?
I think the challenges are really with yourself. The challenges are often self-limitation. We put these hurdles on ourselves. We say there's something called the imposter syndrome. You've probably heard of that, where we think, oh, I'm not ready for that, or I'm not good enough for that, or nobody would listen to me, or, why should anybody listen to me? What have I got a point of view? Listen, if you've got a feeling in your gut, in your heart, that you've got something to say, the biggest thing I've learned is just say it. And the message may not be for everybody, but it'll be for somebody, and it will make a difference. And I use LinkedIn a lot, and that's how we kind of approached each other as well. I would definitely advocate for the people listening and watching in, join LinkedIn and listen to those different routes. And certainly, if anybody wants to connect with me in LinkedIn, I'd be absolutely honored, and we'll connect you with you immediately over the next few days on LinkedIn, and listen to all other points of view. That really helped me to see what's possible, that other people are doing it. There's a phrase, we can only be what we can see. If we see it, other people doing it, that allows us to do it ourselves. And so give yourself permission to be whatever you want to be. There is nothing standing in your way to whatever you want to be. And then the other thing is find a good mentor. Find somebody who really trusts you, who will really help you and really, really challenge you. Because sometimes that mentor relationship can be quite challenging. But I really love the being a mentor, and the mentor's role is signposting and suggesting things. I don't do any of that work for my mentee. We'll have questions about, what should I do? And we'll have all sorts of conversations about maybe what you shouldn't do, or have a think about that, or go and talk to my friend over there, or connect with my colleague on LinkedIn and have a discussion with somebody who's been doing that for maybe 5, 10, 15 years. Go and find out. But the biggest thing I can say is be curious. Be curious. Never stop being curious about different things, and get outside of your comfort zone as well. So that's all the things I've learned to personally overcome. Not to be afraid to do things, not to be afraid to have a voice, not to be afraid to contribute. I want to listen to the young people in my organization, because they'll have a very different point of view to me, and I need to be challenged. Otherwise, I'm just in an echo chamber listening to views like mine. I need other views. I need different perspectives from a very, very diverse mindset. You can male, female, black, white, yellow, brown, whatever. I need to know, because that's the only way I will grow, and that's the only way we will grow, by doing things like this with different traditions and different cultures. So I'm learning from you now. I'm learning from your culture, your environment, your approach, and I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Wow. So, these are the few things really, really important. The moment you said we need to learn from each other, and that learning can be from any phrase, right? So, I am very happy that few of my students have joined me today. And you won't believe, Paul, whenever I used to take advice, I always reach to my students first, even for my
Yes.
own work, even for my
Yeah.
own biggest life decisions. I have no
Yeah.
words. At the same time, what you said that mentor has to be challenging. At times, few of my mentees are here, and they also find it, ma'am, is very challenging. She is not understanding. Why she is not
Mm-hmm.
willing to listen to me? Right. So this
Mm.
comes. But this is how the role of the mentor is. And what you said very nicely that if we are not listening and understanding and taking feedback from others, we are simply echoing our own views. Because there
Yeah.
nobody is telling you. You are simply looking yourself into the mirror and you do not know what is happening in outside world. But there are
Yeah.
people also looking at you. And the more you get to know, and the more you will have original feedback from the right people, those who are the well wishers will give you the right feedback. But pleasing people will never say anything wrong about you, they won't challenge
Right.
you for anything. So we
Yeah.
certainly need to have such people in our life that plays a really very important role. So wonderful, wonderful. And that is really important. And what you said, it's everything in is our mind. If we think it's a challenge, it will become a bigger challenge.
Yes.
That's the reason, the unstoppable man Nick Vijusi is my biggest example. When anyone says, "Ma'am, I'm not able to do it," I said, "Go and read his biography.
Mm-hmm.
If he can
Yeah.
do so many things, a man
Yeah.
born without limbs can do wonders in life. God has
Yeah.
blessed us with brain, hands,
Yeah.
all the organs functioning. We can see the
Mm-hmm.
word, we can speak. So, what is impossible? Because the limiting beliefs are there in our mind only. We restrict
Correct.
ourselves. So, that's
We
a
do.
wonderful thing. Okay. So, being a visiting faculty of a reputed universities, I also work with universities and colleges. I really wish to know your observation and opinion about younger generations' learning attitude and learning style. What you
It's
observed?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. What I observe is that learning styles and ways of learning are definitely changing. And, when I went to university, and probably same for you, I was just left to kind of read books. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have computers, or our research was in books. You know, everything now seems to be online, and I see there's real hunger to learn, and I see there's a real hunger to find lots of different approaches to learning. I'm a big fan of YouTube. I'm a big fan of podcasts. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. So absolutely, kind of open your minds to all those different sources of learning, but just be very, very careful as well. You know, not everything that's written on the internet is the truth. I think we all know that, and you still have to use your brain and trust and look for, specialists that in that area who are recognized. There are some people who set themselves up on the internet who have no qualifications at all, who talk a very good game, but really they're not associated with, good universities or any universities. They may have done a bit of reading, but that can be a very, very dangerous thing. You know, so definitely search out some really good YouTube interviews, TEDx talks. TED talks are amazing. Definitely go for TED talks. They'll be so inspiring. And I've got to know a few really good people who would do TED talks. There's one of my very close friends called Stephanie Somerville, who does she is a professional voiceover person, and
Wow.
she's an actor as well. And she talks about looking at life from other people's perspectives. Look up Stephanie Somerville on YouTube and hear her talking. And she's a personal friend of mine. She'd be a great person for you to interview, actually, by the way. So we'll do that in the future. So I think the challenge is being aware of all those different sources of information out there, and listening to lots of it. We learn by listening to different points of view, and then we can start to form our own opinions from what we hear. And that's the beauty that we can get today. There are so many ways that we can learn, and Don't be forced into a way of learning that you don't think is right for you. There's still a huge place for, and I love it. There's often nothing better than sitting down with a book and reading. And that is the right form of learning for some people, and I enjoy that. And I think that's mixed. There's a really good mix. That's what I enjoy. That's the main way of doing it. Then that's fine. I'm not going to say to you, oh, let's look at a lot of YouTube videos. If your preferred way of learning is through a book. My son is 26 now. He graduated a few years ago from Warwick University. He was very kind of process driven. He liked facts and statistics. So that's what he hated on, learning those. Whereas my daughter, she's
Paul, your voice is not clear. There is some sound and something has gone. Please clear it. We can't hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Yes. You were telling about your daughter. Perfect. Yes.
Thank you. I'll talk a bit closer. Yes, so my daughter, she was very, very creative. She loved interacting, and she would prefer this kind of conversation type approach. So think about your own preferred learning style. I think that's what I'm talking about. Find what's right for you, and don't be forced into another person's learning style. Again, give yourself permission to learn how you want to learn, how you best take facts in, and that'll work for you. Because what's right for you may not be right for the other person.
Yes.
And it's having that strength and that confidence to say, no, this is my learning style. I like it this way, and I'm getting on. I'm very happy for you to do that working style, but please don't force me to do it that way. But to be enabled for yourself to get in that position, you've got to try these different things. I think that's what I'm saying. Try different ones, find out what works best for you.
So that I believe that I always says that your vibes attracts your tribe. So that's the reason I believe that whatever things you are sharing are very close to my heart. As you said, your daughter is into that. She is more into meeting people, social, and that's a similar story of my elder son. From the very first day, even still, he is a localization expert. He's into so much of Korean, but and at the same time, I find myself to be a very different personality in my own way. Once I am a mentor and once I'm working in my own work zone. So at times many people ask me that why don't you change like this? Why don't you change that way? I always tell everyone, I am being authentic. I will remain same. Whosoever is accepting me today, he or she is going to be the part of my journey. Because if somebody is not comfortable with my attitude, with my ways, so that means we are not meant to do any work together. Right? So being authentic and knowing that what you are meant to do is something really, really important. But at the same time, we should be open for the learning attitude. And you said very rightly that going to YouTube and all such things, at times I saw that, there is a craziness about looking at number of followers, number of likes. And, youngsters judge people from all these things, and there is a huge madness around. And we all know that paid advertisement, social medias can create anybody's profile just like boof. Right? So, and every time I'm telling you, even out of these 24 participants, I always tell everyone, even my son, younger son, at times he used to laugh at me because when I said, okay, this is happening in outside world, so he always says, Mama, come out of LinkedIn, you will get to know. Because the kind of things people get on Facebook, Instagram, right? We don't get on LinkedIn. Right. So at times I always say that I do an addiction of LinkedIn. Because there is a lot to learn. But you need to spend your time there. You need to invest your energy there. And that's the reason. And you said YouTube very nicely because you could understand clearly what somebody is saying. But then you need to cross check all these things. And I believe I am very happy that once a person met me and he said, if I do Google Jasbirr Grover, you will always find LinkedIn is a first thing. And that's the only place where you cannot sell yourself out of the way by paid promotions and all. That LinkedIn algorithm can never allow. So that's a next level of golden mine advice you have given. Really, really great. Okay, so move to the next question is So why it is so important to understand leadership behavior? So people think
Yeah.
about normal behavior, social behavior, maybe any other behavior, but why it is important to understand leadership behavior? Even I would be more than enlightened to know.
Okay. So first of all, I'd say anybody can show leadership behaviors. Yeah. Often we think when we think about leadership, we think about a position, head of or director of things like that. Again, leadership is a bit of a mindset. To when we're talking about in understanding leadership behaviors, it's about leading others to get the best out of others. It's not being a boss and not being a director. It's not really being a manager. For me, leadership is getting the best out of other people, yeah, and helping them and encouraging people and developing people. So that's the importance around it. And one of the I'm going to recommend a website here um, to understand others' perspectives and other people's different behaviors. I first need to understand my own kind of leadership behavior and my own preferred way of working. So one of the websites I recommend is called www.16personalities.com. Yeah. And you've heard of it, and it's very much based on Myers-Briggs types indicators, and the type on my LinkedIn. It tells you, and I say on my personality type, which is ENFP, that's the way I am. And some of the things you quoted very kindly, Q, at the start of our talk was around, I'm an optimist. I believe in the best in people. So definitely encourage the people who are watching and listening in to find out about your own personality. It's free, only takes 12 minutes to do it, and it's frighteningly accurate. It'll tell you so much about yourself, about why you behave the way you do, and it will give you so much comfort and so much joy and so much confidence to say, oh yeah, now I understand why I'm like this, and I'm okay being like this. And this is my personality, and I don't need to apologize for my personality, because my personality is authentic and is valid, and there's nothing wrong with my approach. You may be introverted or extroverted. It's whatever works for you, and be comfortable in your personality, because you'll find it very, very hard to change it. And even if you try to, you're going to throw away some really good things, because this is you. We are made up from our experiences, as you said as well. We are here today built up from years and years of, experiences of communication and family and people we met, all going in.
Yes.
For me, to understand the people who work for me, I've got to kind of understand their perspectives as well. And that's the important thing about leadership around behaviors. I will use kind of different strategies and tactics to encourage different people. Some people work better, with encouragement, and some people work better if there are kind of set processes for them to do. And if I get that wrong, then I'm not allowing or enabling those people in my team to work at their best. So I've got to build a relationship, try and understand better their personalities. Yeah.
Yes.
Try and understand their personalities better, and that will help them. Yeah.
We can't hear you, Paul.
Okay, can you hear me?
No, there is some sound. Can you please say again? We can check it up.
Yeah. Maybe that's better.
There is some
Is that better?
sound. Now it's perfect. So
Is it better?
even yes. So the website which you said, it is a wonderful website, and I have a one question now, because you talked about it out of the question which I prepared. That which personality that website told you that you are, accurate to that personality. Then I'll share my result.
Yeah. So I think I said ENFP. Yeah, is my personality type. So it's very kind of extrovert, but intuitive, kind of feeling and perceptive. That's kind of my personality. Yeah. What's yours?
So it's a similar, and you won't believe, even the students who have visited my house, they saw that there is a big poster of Oprah, and I'm a big fan of Oprah, right?
Yeah.
And the moment I did it, I got to know your personality fits into Oprah. She is the same person, and trust me, I do not know, from the very young age of my from very younger time of my childhood time, I was always a big fan of Oprah. I do not know
Yeah.
how, and that time I no internet and all such facilities were available. But when I
Yeah.
got to know about it, then I realized that there is some inner calling soul knows. That's the reason you
Yeah.
connect with such people. And I was shocked and amazed to know, as you said, it is so authentic, it is so accurate. Exactly. This is something really, really very good. Happy to know this. Great. So, what are the some common myths about leadership which people always think in normal day of life?
Yeah. Could you just say that one again for me? Common myths about leadership. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. It was the myths bit I couldn't get. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's what I said earlier. So a myth is that you have to wait to be in a leadership position or being called a leader before you can lead. That's a real myth. You don't have to be a director. You don't have to be a head of. If you're in a team, if you're working in a team, every team needs some leadership, and needs some direction. So you can adopt that leadership role. And it's not about kind of being bossy or bossing other people around at all. One of the things I say is don't wait for the job title. And I say, don't call yourself an athlete, just run. Don't call yourself an artist, just paint. Don't call yourself a manager, just lead. Just do it, because you don't have to wait for the title. Start leading. You can do it today. You can do it in your coursework with your team colleagues, whether you're, doing some sport, show some leadership there. Leadership, and just think about what leadership is. Leadership is showing encouragement, developing others, and making time for others. So you don't have to wait for a job title. And in fact, I try and throughout my life kind of work to the highest level I can. So, before I get a promotion to what the next level is, I try and work at that level anyway, so that then people are very surprised that I'm not at that level already. So when I go into the interview room, they're kind of surprised. Oh, Paul, I thought you were that level already. Well, thank you. That's what I've been trying to do. And, adopt the behaviors, the good positive behaviors of the next level. So if you're looking for a promotion at work, look at some really good examples from people who are working at that level and do that. As long as it fits with your personality and your approach and what you want to do. We've already said it. A lot about it is being authentic. And again, I'll say it doesn't matter whether you're introvert or extrovert. The best team have all those different personalities. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy communicating. I really enjoy doing media interviews. One of the things I don't like is Excel spreadsheets and processing in numbers. I don't do those very well. But what I do like doing is the communication. But thankfully, some other people in my team love doing that. So, it's finding the right people in the teams, and the best teams have got all those different personalities.
So, Paul, you need to be little closer to your mic or something. There is some
Yeah.
noise keep on coming. So, I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
keep on telling you this.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, it's okay. So, there is some noise, but we can hear. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what profession other than your own you would like to attempt if given a chance, and why?
That's a really difficult question, and you kindly sent me that question before, and I'm just going to see what I wrote down. So, if I wasn't doing this job, what other job would I do? It would be something that is dealing with people. It would be lecturing, probably. It would be lecturing. I love sharing information. I love encouraging people, or it would be in sort of training other people. There's no greater satisfaction for me. Mentoring, I love mentoring as well. Then than to work with an inquiring mind, an inquiring young mind, and to see the person grow. So, that's what I get at the end of the day. I'm not really interested in, being a millionaire or a billionaire or anything like that. I just want to have a sense of, you know, I contributed. There was an actor who died a few years ago, an English actor called Paul Eddington, and he died of skin cancer. It was terrible, really. He died of skin cancer, but they asked him how he'd like to be remembered, and I'll never forget it. And it was very moving what he said. He said, "I'd like to be remembered as someone who did little harm, treaded gently on the earth, and who didn't necessarily leave any big legacies or anything like that, but actually did little harm." Everything we say, people really, really listen to, and especially in our positions, we're in very powerful positions, and sometimes what we can say can maybe harm people and really hurt people. And we have to be very, very careful of that. As leaders, we cast a shadow, and people listen to us, and that's a very, very responsible position to be in. So I'm always trying to be very, very careful about how my words land with students, especially, and is what I'm saying useful and helpful and encouraging. So as long as it doesn't really matter what my job title is, in truth, as long as that job allows me to be authentic and truthful and encouraging and developing, I can be an encouraging lawyer, I could be an encouraging doctor, I can be an encouraging plumber, I could be an encouraging truck driver. That doesn't really matter your job title, how you are, not what you do. That's the most important thing, because you can do all those things in any job.
Right. So it is again another way of what you are giving back and what impact really you are making in somebody's life. That's something really important. And even at times, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and she was also saying that if she goes to the clubs and all, she don't feel comfortable. Right.
Yeah.
Even I am also the similar kind of a person. You can tell me to sit with my student, I can spend 10 hours, 20 hours, 18 hours, 8 hours. But if I have to go for a marriage, I have to go for a party, I really, after 2 hours, 3 hours, I started
Yeah.
getting suffocated. Because the
Yes.
moment I interact with the youngsters, when I indulge in the talks, I get myself lost and I do not know what kind of energies I get, and I feel so satisfied, right?
Yeah.
So because you love what you are doing, and if you are authentic and knowing that you are enjoying it, so certainly that will motivate you to do more. And that's a wonderful thing you have said, because lot many youngsters are there, they get so much attached to the designations,
Yeah. Yeah.
promotions. They
Yeah.
feel sad that if they are not being promoted. I always tell them, even in my career, you will not see that I may have served any organization for a longer time, because
Mm.
I work till the time I feel that my purpose is there,
Yeah.
right? But I never get attached that, okay, if I would be leaving this job, how outside world will look at me, what Jasbirr is doing. I was
Yeah.
never ever attached towards any designation, any
Yeah.
power, because I always remain satisfied what I am doing, because that would make a deep sense of, you know importance in my life, and that I can
Yes.
resonate in my life. So this is something very important message you have given to the youngsters, because they say promotions and they feel sad when they don't get the appreciations. But rather than, I believe they should look that whatever they are doing by their heart. They are
Yeah.
enjoying it. Are they
Yeah.
contributing? Even if a small percentage of improvement is happening because of their work, so they should be satisfied. So what happened? People start looking at what is not working rather
Mm.
than what they are contributing. So this is
Yeah.
wonderful advice. Great. I love it. Okay. So now another question. What's the one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
it's it's okay to be you. It's okay to be just as you are. You don't need to change. You don't need to think you're inadequate. You don't need to think you haven't got any confidence. You don't need to think you haven't got a voice, because you have. You have. And I wish I'd had a mentor, when I was younger, to just tell me that,
Similar.
just, I missed so many opportunities just by being quiet, by not getting involved, by not contributing, because I thought, oh, nobody's going to listen to me and I'm not important and I've got nothing to say. You're so wrong, and, I need to listen to young people. I need to listen. The world is changing very, very quickly, very much so from when I started my career. I need to know from my company what young people are looking for in the workplace for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Because I want to recruit and retain the best people from my organization. So my proposition in our company is my company offering what you want? And I don't know that unless we talk. So, and what the students are telling me is they like companies that have flexible working. They like companies that give a work-life balance. They like companies that give them opportunities to study and study time off, and that will encourage study. They like companies that will give them variety, so they can do something for maybe 6 to 9 months and then do something else while they're learning. So that's why we have a 3-year graduate program. So in those 3 years, they'll be moving around 4 or 5 or 6 different jobs. Because in that time, then they'll find the one that they'll really like, rather than forcing them into one job, because they won't stay. They'll move, and it's very, very expensive to recruit and retain people. So the more people we can retain, the less people we have to recruit. It's an investment we will invest in a long time in them. So one thing you wish you'd known when you began your career: have a voice, use your voice, contribute, look for opportunities that you can contribute. Shadow people. Shadow other people. Say, can I join you for a day? Yes, you can join me for a day and observe what I do. And I'll probably ask you if you can work with it. Get involved, be curious, show interest, and be kind. I'm going to keep saying be kind. I'm going to get very boring. Be kind to the people around you. If you show kindness to people, they will show kindness back to you. It's the biggest thing you can do. Be kind to people.
Right. Actually, I love that point where you said that companies should give the opportunity that students can explore, maybe especially the youngsters, because they are always in that phrase that they picked up the job, they are desperate to get a job. Many of the jobs just simply picked up because they are in the need of money. They have to answer to the parents, they have to justify their peer pressure. But I believe companies should be more open, and I always raise this issue with the organizations also, that please understand they comes with a very different expectations, right? But at the same time, what I believe, what you said, Paul, that's really is very close to my heart. I believe that's the reason we are connected, because I also worked in education sector, because when I was young, those days we were never having anybody to mentor us, to even tell us not to do this and do this. We have nobody to simply call and tell them this is happening, this has happened, this has happened, right? So that role is there. At the same time, that's a wonderful answer where you said, can you go and tell them what else can we contribute? Either people remain strict to their 9 to 10 jobs and what are they being asked to do, because majority of people think that the work which has given to them, they need to excel in that also only. Then only they would be able to make some of the impact that they are doing good. They are able to present the organization, they are the good employees, they are working extra hours, but they don't think out of the box that okay, if 8 to 10 hours I'm doing this, what extra 1 hour I can do which can help me. So very few people go to the organization and they contribute, and I believe those who are aligned and they are aware of these things, they do wonders. I really admire your advice in that case. Great. Okay, so now I have another question, like, what advice would you give to someone wanting to pursue a career similar to you? One is that construction and architecture, and second, you are a master of project management.
It's got to be your passion. You know, it's got to be your passion. Find your own passion. And my passion here is architecture and design and project management and working with other people. So what I enjoy about project management is working in teams and the creative aspect of project management. At the end of the day, there's going to be a structure or a road or something that's there, which is going to help people, you know, in their daily lives. If it's a road, then there are benefits that we provide, and that, for me, it's the benefits, and it's the difference between the outputs, which is the road, the structures, the technology, and the outcomes, which are the benefits, which make your life easier. And when we're building a road, it's to bring communities together and to bring businesses together. So and to make life easier and to make things cheaper. So I'm very much interested in the outcomes of everything we build. When I started my career, it was more the outputs. That's a really good piece of road. That's a really good bridge. As my career has gone on, I've kind of done that, and it's okay. Now I understand completely how that works. But why am I doing it? Why am I building this structure? It's to help people's lives. And again, that's what I try and encourage in students, is to think more widely about why we do things. Why are we thinking? Why do you want to get in project management? And project management is about four things. It's safety, cost, quality, and time. And it's all those different things working together. And if you don't get one right, it'll affect the other. Safety is the most important thing. The safety of our workforce and the safety of our customers. That's our number one imperative. And to build a project, everything has to be done to cost, on time, and with quality. And if you get all those things right, then you'll have a good project. If the time is longer, that's going to affect the cost. If the quality is poor, that's going to affect the cost and the time. So they all interact with each other, and it's like spinning all these plates at the same time in the air and getting the right people to lead on those different areas. So, and I enjoy big projects. The projects I deal with are massive, are huge, and very, very complex. So they're in pounds sterling, they're 300 million pounds, 400 million pounds projects that will last 3 or 4 years. They're not small, with hundreds and hundreds of people working on those projects, all with very different skills and personalities, and different needs and wants as well, what they want out of the project. So, and I enjoy that. I enjoy interacting with them, what their passions are, and understanding those different skill sets. So we employ planners, we employ quantity surveyors, we employ archaeologists, we employ environmental people, structures people, pavement people, drainage people. A huge amount of skill sets. And I'm learning every day. I'm learning every day from what they do. And I hope I do something too. I think I do. And it's getting that collaboration, really. The best to collaborate well with each other. And there's accountability there as well, and there's trust for each other as well. And not all those things are what kind of get me up in the morning to drive to the office and to go and build things.
Right. So, because there are many students nowadays, project management is a very most sort job also. But many people think that it is not that good. You may not be required after the project is gone, and some kind of myths I always heard from the students whenever they think. Okay, so now I have a next question, like many people feel that this is a short term career. How true it is? Because this is a biggest answer whenever we talk about project management as a career, be it an experienced professional, be it a early career, they always give me the same answer. Would love to hear from you, Paul, today.
Okay. Well, I can only say that, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I'm probably going to do it. I'm going to do it for another 10 years before I retire. Around the world, construction project management is always going to be needed, because countries are changing, countries are growing. There's huge economic growth in India, I know, massive, which is wonderful to see. And it's changing all the time. So it's changing from kind of fossil fuels into things like solar and sustainability. It's really, really exciting. Cars and vehicles are changing from, the internal combustion engine to, electric vehicles. Massive opportunities there to get involved in project managing that. Our roads will look very, very different in 10, 15 years' time with connected vehicles and autonomous vehicles. Our homes will be heated by solar or hydrogen or all these different fuels. It's the most exciting time in my career because things are changing so quickly and so fast with new technologies. And we need young people with those skills to understand that change and move with that change. In 10 years, I'll be retired. So who's going to take my place? And there are a lot of people in my position. So we need young, enthusiastic project managers to step into those positions and to build the future. Now go and build the future and have a say of what that future looks like. Everything is changing faster now than it's ever changed on the planet. And it's a really exciting time. Get passionate about sustainability. Get passionate about solar and wind power. And fossil fuels are dying. Gas, oil, coal is dying. Those are the old, and steel. Those are the old. They were great, but their time is gone. Plastic, sustainable plastic. Their time is gone. Get involved in sustainable practices, in solar, in connected vehicles, in autonomous vehicles. All those kind of areas as well. And actually, in communication. I'm talking about, the family explaining those very, very different things to other people. So it's not just the technical aspect, it's how we explain those is very difficult to other people as well. And there's all the kind of the politics around that as well. Politicians, we will always have politicians, we will always have politicians, good or bad. But there are a lot of good politicians out there as well who join in politics to represent their community, want to make it. I with some amazing, awesome politicians.
There is huge really noise, Paul. There is some disturbance.
Yeah. No.
Right.
No. Okay.
Right. Okay, so moving to the next question.
Yeah.
So how important are certifications these days in regard to getting project management job and all such things? Because nowadays people run after many of certifications. I do not know how much experience they carry, but I saw a madness amongst youngsters especially that if you have certification, then only you have something. How true is that, Paul?
For me, it's kind of 50-50.
Right.
You need the basic qualifications, and you probably need you don't always need to be a graduate. We employ a lot of apprentices now. The great thing is where there are different routes into the world of work, and we take people at 18 and 21 and 25. So we take people in our business who haven't gone to university, and we take them on an apprentice program. So we'll teach them on the job. Because university isn't for everybody, Some people are more practical and like to learn on the job, and we recognise that. So we'll teach you on the job from the age of 18. Some people, the graduate experience is wonderful. Go to university if you can. Don't spend 3 years in the library. Go and talk to people. Get a part-time job, and learn about life, learn about different perspectives, and learn to cope on your own. One of the biggest things I learned at university was how to cook. It's self-reliance and self-motivation. That's what you learn at university, really. And then we'll take people on a graduate program, And then some people who want to specialize maybe go and do a master's, and that's
Right.
okay for you as well. You want to do a really specialized area, something around, higher construction management and specialized, great. And that's just another year. And you may even want to do another 3 years and do a PhD. That's fine as well. Some organizations, my organization, will support you through doing an MA possibly, and lots of the best companies, will support you through that. So don't
Right.
feel you have to be 25. Go and talk to companies. Go on to graduate programs. Definitely look at those things. But the important thing is it's not the degree that's going to get you the job. Yeah. It's not the degree that's going to get you the job. It's the communication skills that can get you the job. The degree will get you in the room for the interview, but if you're just going to rely on your degree, you won't get the job. Yeah. What you need to do is be able to explain and do this and communicate, and be engaging and be kind and be generous and understand each other's perspectives. That's what's going to get you the job. I see so many great, resumes and CVs, but when I see the person in the room, there's very, very poor communication skills sometimes.
So, Paul,
And
we
I've always,
can't hear you. Like people are sending the message. We can't hear you. Yes.
I don't know why that is. It's fine this end, but
Okay.
not here. Is that better?
Chankat.
Fine.
Chankat, Uncle Wilkar. No.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Now start.
Yeah. So
Now
try
you.
again.
Perfect. Perfect, Paul.
Okay. So all I was saying, don't rely on your CV to think you're going to get the job. That gets you in the room for the interview. You need to show enthusiasm for the company. Do some learning about the company. So tell the company what you're going to bring to the company, not what the company is going to give to you. You're going to bring enthusiasm. You're going to bring passion. You're going to bring curiosity. You want to learn. You want to, grow in this company. Those are the people I like in my organization. So if it's a choice between somebody who's great, got amazing qualifications but can't communicate, and somebody who can communicate who maybe hasn't got the qualifications, I'm going to employ the communicator. I'm sorry, I'm going to employ the communicator because I can teach you the technical stuff. It's very much harder for me to teach you the communications stuff. Yeah. And those are
Very
the people who
right.
get, yeah, those are the people who get on in organizations. Those who can do this, those who can communicate and have an engaging conversation.
Wonderful.
And
This is something you said the moment we look at the resume and they brag about the things. But the
yeah,
moment it comes to reality, many of the people can't even speak beyond their resumes, or they have
yeah,
nothing to talk about what they have done in life apart from working for a limited things. And
yeah,
that's really important, that communication, if you do not know what you can offer. Again, what we started in the beginning of the session, again, you are also bringing the same thing, which is really, really very big insights. And you would be happy to know we have some of the parents also who are with us today, right? So this is a big insight for them, because you also said degree cannot get you anything.
no,
So don't run after what degree, what you have done. But there are many things, as you also said, that I would be more than happy to hire somebody not having a degree, but is a good at communication skills. And if you talk about communication skills, it comes with lot many things. It's not that you are good at speaking, but how you are doing with others, how you are perceiving about others, how you behave with others. So there are many
yes,
factors which works, and I believe, and youngsters and many of the parents and the curriculum is not teaching this art much, but
correct,
everyone
correct.
is running after behind degrees, percentage, academic scores, and the certifications. And then they said,
Yeah,
okay, we appeared for the job, and many of the parents also remain fearful. Will my kid get job? And I always says, whenever any students approach me, and even parents approach me, just be this is a child, this is a child. So I always says, give me some time to speak to your daughter or son. And at times I take at least 1 hour to talk to them so that I can know what they are
yes,
doing. And half of the conversation, trust me, within 10 minutes I could make out they have nothing to offer.
yeah,
And there are people I can
yeah,
talk for hours and hours. So it is
Yes.
not only about the communications that you are very good at English or you are very good at your language. So I really wish to quote here one example, and one of my student is here who was his senior. He was from India's a very rural areas, and he was a mechanical engineer, Paul. And once you are from a very rural areas, he was having an accent, typical accent from Haryana region, right?
Yeah.
But he was such a wonderful student that in third year only, with the help of my director, he published his books on thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Imagine, and the moment the company came, Kaparo Maruti came to hire the engineers, and he was the only one got selected, despite he was not very good at English. In
Yeah.
India, corporates feel that students who are coming from Indian background, they should be confident with English because it is
Mhm.
required. But trust me, he
Mhm.
can understand English, he can speak English, but there was a very strong accent, and he was
Yeah.
not that very good at those communication skills, which, if you can say, voice and accent. But can you imagine, Paul, students who were at 90%, 80%, and maybe who were from corporate, convent schools, they were very good at communication skills. They could not grab that job. He was the only student offered, and his name is Vastupal. How do you
Excellent.
see this? So, these are the real life experiences, because whenever corporate used to come to the college, I always used to ask them why you have picked him and why you have rejected him.
Mm.
So, the whatever you are telling is something too deep. But the problem is majority of corporates do not give this feedback to the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's
is
a
also
shame. Yeah.
that, yes. So, we need to work, and they also said we don't have time. They said, okay, we will
Mm.
get back to you. And students are waiting, okay, they will get back to me. But you never know why they are not getting you back.
Mm.
And the HRs
Mm.
also said, we have our limitations. We can't say this. We can't respond to every mail. But what I believe, that if you know what you are, if you have everything, in every interview you get to know that whether you are hired or you are fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are
We
good
always
at
get feedback.
communication, yes,
Yeah.
because it's a
I was
two-way.
interviewing. Yeah, I was interviewing on Wednesday, and there were uh, three people, and we had an assessment center, and there were six of us interviewing. And at the end of the day, we have a session, and we wrote back. We wrote down everything about the people, the good, and where they could improve. And it's got to be constructive. We're never going to say, you were bad at interview. We will say, go and get some more experience in this area. Talk about often in interviews, and we could talk another time about interview strategy and interview technique. I'd be very, very happy to talk
Yes,
about
we
CVs
look
and
forward.
interviews. We'll do that another day. Definitely
Yes,
do that. There's definitely a strategy for winning an interview, and it's about how you come across in your body language and having really strong examples. There's something called the STAR technique, which you may have heard about, which is when you're framing your answers. In my opinion, there is only one interview question, and that one interview question is, give me an example of. Give me an example of customer care. Give me an example of difficult situation. Give me an example of, working long hours. Those kind of things. And your answer should follow the STAR technique, which is situation, task, action, results. And if your students want to Google that and YouTube, there's a great guy on YouTube called, I think his name is Richard McMahon, something like that. But kind of Google STAR technique, winning interviews. He's a great guy. He's
yes,
really, really good. And he talks about a lot of the same things that I talk about. But we'll do that another day. Okay.
for sure. So now I have a question from the participant Vansh. He is again one of my student from a university. Now he's working. He said, I would, Vansh, if you would like to ask the question, I believe Paul would feel happy to answer you. I can unmute you and you can come on the video if you wish to. Can I allow him, Paul?
Of course.
Okay,
Yes.
Vansh, come, Vansh. Okay.
Hey, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to ask from Paul. Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Yeah. So I have a background of digital marketing and I'm working in a tech company right now. So
Yeah.
in future, I'm looking forward into project management. So how can I plan to it? Like, should I go for a CAPM certification, that is a beginner level certification for project management, or like I should gain more experience for project management as it requires a lot of effort?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think what they're going to do, they're going to look at the skills that you have and what kind of transitional skills you have, what skills that you have now that you can transition into your new role. So if you're coming to be interviewed by me for my company, I would look at your CV and see, okay, you've got these skills in this area. I could use skills like that because I'm interested in what you're doing in your company and how I can use them in my company. So don't underestimate or underplay the skills you've got. I'd be probably advising you to review your CV and look at the kind of project management skills you've already got, because I can guarantee you're doing a lot of leading now, you're doing a lot of teamwork now, you're doing a lot of collaboration now, and that's project management. You're probably, although you're not calling yourself one, you're probably a project manager already, and that's what I need to know for you. So, and if you come and join our company, that's when we can talk about getting the professional qualifications around it. I'd be looking for companies who accept you for who you are now, and then will train you themselves in getting the kind of qualifications. Is that helpful?
Unmute. Hope, I believe, Vansh, have you got the answer?
Yes,
Vansh?
Yeah.
yes, exactly. I totally resonate with the thoughts of Paul. Actually, I'm managing a lot of work right now, and
Yeah.
yeah, it is time for me to review my skills. And
Yes.
yeah, thank you so much,
Do
Paul.
that.
Now
Yeah,
we
and review
have,
your CV and yeah, sell yourself. Yeah, call yourself a project manager, then you are one. Yeah.
Yeah, surely. From now, I'm a project manager.
You're a project manager already. Yeah.
Great, great, great.
wonderful as such, actually. Now we have another question from Sering. Sering. She has a question. Can we just unmute host? Paul, my younger son is handling the whole event and he is managing back and everything and he's in class 11.
Thank you.
He is my mentor for these technology based webinars. I learned from him.
He's doing an excellent job. Thank you.
Hi, Paul. Can you hear
Hi.
me? Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sparing time for us. So I have a question. So what, according to you, are the rudimentary skills which one should possess or should work on for possessing to be at par with project management in future?
Yeah, a lot of them are the basic communication skills that we've already talked about. And this, I call them the soft skills. Really, it's listening, it's understanding other people's perspectives, it's being able to analyze a lot of information and then come up with a decision. It's about time management. So we talked about when you're dealing with a project, the key things are time, cost, quality, safety. It's understanding how they affect each other. And, you know, there's lots of articles around that. But don't think that you have to read thousands and thousands of books about, project management. It's more about teamwork. And I'm sure you've got, from either your studies or the work that you've done already, you can give examples of teamwork and working in a team. Project management largely is teamwork. It's collaborating, but it's also about encouraging others, developing others, and really working together to create an outcome. We talked about outputs and outcomes. So project management is taking a lot of information, making it accessible to the team members, aligning the kind of views of the team members, and creating the product, obviously, whether that's a product in itself or the road or the structure or the building, whatever, explaining how that's worked, and then creating outputs and looking at the benefits as well. So for me, it's always going to be the soft skills. I can teach you the electronics, the architecture, the engineering, but if you haven't got the basic kind of understanding of how to collaborate, how to hold an argument, how to explain complex situations in a non-technical way that customers understand, then it's going to be much harder. So in preparing for project management, definitely it's around the soft skills. I'm sure. I mean, let me ask you the question: have you got any kind of examples of teamwork that you've already done in your studies?
Right.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
I definitely use those. Put those on your CV as well, because often, on CV, when I read a lot of CVs, students underplay all the teamwork that they've done. And then you may have led some of those. And if you're at university, if you're involved in like sport or any clubs or societies, and you've taken an active role in those clubs, you tell me about those. That tells me about your character, that you want to lead people. People tell me they've travelled. They usually put it at the end. I'm interested in where you've travelled to, and then because that shows an understanding and an interest in different traditions and cultures. What did you learn when you go there? So there's a lot we can do about CVs. So we'll definitely do another session about CVs in the future. Okay.
Right. So your voice is again breaking. So now I really need to ask one question, like which can be the best tools one can learn? Which are the basic tools one can learn to get some idea about project management that can help them give an idea or something? This can be helpful for many, because what I realize that this is a field which can be useful for any area, right? Because every organization has a project, and we need somebody to manage, and that's the reason I can really understand every time you are focusing on teamwork, communication
Yeah.
skills,
Yeah.
fulfilling the commitments. So but apart from that, are there any tools which you can recommend to the students, like maybe possible any best tools in this area?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, the best tool is other people, listening to the experience of other people, and get a mentor. Definitely get a mentor. We talked about things like podcasts and LinkedIn and YouTube. Those are really good tools as well. I'm not going to suggest you go and read a book. Just not going to suggest it, because you'll have studied already, and you really need to do more communicating. So I'm always going to point you into having a discussion. Use LinkedIn, connect with a wide range of people, and start a conversation. Listen to other perspectives. So those are the best resources and skills I can suggest. Listen to other project managers. Listen to a wide range of project managers from different types of companies about how they do their job, because we all do it very, very differently. And I'm definitely not saying be like me. Don't be like me. Be like yourself, and find out how you want to be and what you're comfortable with. Because through my career, and I'm sure you have too, we learn something from everybody we meet. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. Sometimes it's, yeah, I've listened to you and I don't want to be like you, but I've learned something. But that works for you and it won't work for me. And I've learned that won't work for me. So, we have a saying here called "steal with pride." Steal with pride. If that's something that that characteristic in your personality is good, I'm going to have some of that, because I like it, and I'm going to reflect that in what I do. So I'm going to grow from speaking with others, and we are always growing. I'm probably learning more now than I've ever done in my life, through things like this, through podcasts, through speaking with students, through changing my position on issues. And one thing I'm going to say, it's okay to have opinions. It's not okay to be opinionated. Yeah, they're very, very different things. Certainly have an opinion, but also be prepared to adjust your position. The world is changing very, very quickly.
Yes.
And what was okay 10 years ago isn't okay now. We've all got to move our positions, and especially around things like diversity and inclusion, and hearing other perspectives. We all need to be more open to that. And I'm doing a lot more of that now than I've done before, and I think I'm growing because of it.
Wow, Paul. I have no words. Like, still I feel like that we have a lot to ask, but I know we have time constraint and we have no words of thanks for you, that what I was expecting, that so much of knowledge, so much of wisdom. I believe I truly enjoyed it. My audience too must have enjoyed it. And is there any other one? Is there anyone else who would like to ask any question from Paul? Anyone else who would like to share anything or would like to ask? Please raise your hand. I will take quickly one, two people more. Is there anyone? Raise your hand, please. Kasturi. Katuri Padmaja. Okay, Padma. Please, please. Host, please unmute. Padma. Padma. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for sparing your time with us and giving us such a wonderful session. As you mentioned to us, that passion is important and purpose of life to find it what you are passionate about. But the people across this world are running in a race where people want to satisfy others in the society. And if they do not do it, they'll face a societal rejection. So how to be okay to do things that you are having passionate, even others are not recognizing it, and to be satisfied in what you are doing?
Really good question. And I think it's having the confidence and the belief in what you're doing is right. And if you've got that confidence and belief in what you're doing is right, that will come through. That passion will come through, and you will be able to change people's positions, and you'll be able to change people's opinions. It's a very, very courageous position to be in. But if you look at the great leaders of the past, they stood out from society. You know, they were outside the received wisdom, the received thought of, oh yeah, it's always been this way, so therefore we can't change. You know, great leaders are those people who often stood alone and been lonely, but they've had, you know, some people around them that trust them, and it's important to have, as we've said, mentors and people that they trust and appreciate, who listen to them and know that you're right. I always think if you've got a gut feeling around something, test it on other people that you trust. And, you know, am I right about this? I think I'm right about this. And if you know, with the people that you trust, say yes, absolutely. Doesn't matter if you're in the minority. It does, you know, the majority aren't always right. And as we've said, times are changing a lot. So have the strength of your convictions and have a voice. Don't be afraid to have a voice. And you may find opposition. You may find people challenging you. It's because they're not ready yet to change sometimes. They probably know that they've got to, but they're kind of struggling against it. And I think we can help those people as well. I'm not saying put those people down. I think I've already said be non-judgmental. Kind of listen to what other people are saying, but try and convince them with your argument, and be out there and engage. Okay, is that helpful?
Wonderful answer. Padma, are you satisfied? Padma? Unmute. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for such a great explanation. And I can even quote it like when Galileo had mentioned that Earth is round and it is revolving around the sun. Nobody had accepted it, and they believed in Aristotle. So it needs a lot of encouragement as well as standing on your point and expressing it until the last breath of your life.
Absolutely, a really good example there. Yeah, and there used to be people used to believe in a flat Earth, didn't they? Yeah. The world is round. Yeah.
Right. So we have a very quick question from another participant. Let us just take it, then we'll maybe wind up. Manjot has one question. Okay, Manjot. Host, please unmute. Manjot.
Hello, am I audible?
You're not audible, Manjot.
Hello, am I audible right now?
Can you please speak little more, little loudly?
Hello, am I audible right now?
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for giving your good time with us and sharing your experience. I just wanted to know, like, as choosing a great path like project management, what is the best thing you like in this?
What's the best thing I like about project management? Yeah. I think the best thing I like is the variety of different people I deal with, about the different subject matters that I deal with every day. So I'll have to deal with engineering issues, I'll have to deal with customer issues, with commercial, with contractual, with people, and every day is different. Every day is a challenge, and I like that. I like variety. I've always liked to be busy. I've always liked variety, and I've always liked to make time for people. Yeah, that's what's important to me, and it's a very fulfilling career.
Wow. So
It's really
Paul,
amazing, sir.
So, Paul, I have a question in this case because I know Manjot, he's from mechanical background. He's in mechanical engineering and now he is pursuing his MBA, right? So, how do you
Yeah.
see that people going for MBA instead of MBA, people are going from project management because they are from the engineering background? And how close do you think that construction and engineering can be for a student like Manjot Kocher who are from a mechanical background, maybe from very different field of backgrounds, electrical and such fields which are not IT related fields?
It's okay. Again, it's what we call a transitional skill.
Okay.
It's still engineering. Whether it's electrical or mechanical, it's solving problems. It's taking an issue, going through a methodology, and coming out with a solution. So a very, very good, relevant transitional skill. And the MBA is good because that's not a technical, it's Master of Business in Administration. You're learning those soft skills. You're learning how to lead meetings, how to interact with people. So that's a very, very good combination to do a mechanical engineering and then do something that's very unusual and very good, very admirable, to then go and do an MBA, because you're learning about then how to maybe explain something very, very technical in a non-technical way. And that's a really important skill. It's what I have to do every day, to explain the work I do to kind of politicians, to customers, to stakeholders all the time. So really good combination. I really like that one. I'd advise others to do that. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful advice. So I believe it's almost good time we have spent and all the questions we have covered. In fact, few of the questions out of the way. We are truly blessed and happy that you honored all the answers and give us this much of time. And from the participants, do we have any other question? Anyone? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to have more sessions on maybe on the CVs or maybe on star interview technologies, and I would be in touch with you. And thank you so much to all the participants for joining us, and I hope you all enjoyed it with Paul. I truly enjoyed it.
Thank you. You take care. Keep safe and well.
You too. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.